Welcome back, everybody. In this session, we have the research assistant from Istanbul Technical University, Uğur Önal, and he will be talking about how communities affect the game industry and gamer. Now I will be leaving the floor to Uğur. Hello, hello, welcome. So when you're ready, you can start. Okay, I'll be sharing my screen. I guess you can see my screen now. Yes. So without further ado, let me start. Hello, everybody. My name is Uğur Önal. And in this session, as much as I can, I'll be talking about the game industry and the place, the position of communities in the game industry and how the gamers can benefit from those communities. So what I will be talking about will be rather general. However, I'll be giving some examples as regards specifically for game industry. Before I delve into our main subject matter, let me talk about who I am. I am a gamer myself, and for a long time, I have been playing my own games and also some mini games that many are familiar with. So, for long years, I have been playing games. So, back in time, in the past, as I did not know how the concepts or designs were taking place, I was just adapting. But then in 2014, I started studying at Istanbul Technical University Computer Engineering Department. And in the first couple of years, not much happened, but after maybe 2 years, there was a club of named Game Design and Development at school. And there I had an idea what game design was, and I had a chance to experience from game design to game arts, from programming to music. I had a chance to experience many fields, and after this experience, I figured out that the best way, the field that fit me the most was game design and project management, and sometimes I worked as a freelancer for game design. And then during the time I was at the club of game design and development, I was a member of the board. And then for 2 years, I chaired the board. And then after I left the board, after graduation, I still remained in touch with them and continued to support the club with all the experience I had. And then in 2020, August, I finally graduated from computer engineering. I was working as a practicing engineering, but I was rather interested in game design. And in 2021, I started my master's degree at again Istanbul Technical University in the Department of Game and Interaction Technologies. And now I work at Istanbul Technical University as a research assistant. So maybe I could have kept this part a bit shorter, but I couldn't really figure out how to introduce myself. Maybe a little short, maybe a little long. But I had now the chance to introduce myself, and I guess our viewers can now tell who am I briefly, and you can make your interpretations accordingly. So, without further ado, I will be talking about communities, the main subject matter I will be talking about. So, when I say communities, what do I mean? What is a community? To define briefly, I can say that a group of people come together for a specific purpose and take actions. So these are organizations. But what about the purposes, the goals of such groups, and what kind of communities could there be? Communities can come together for different purposes. I cannot, of course, talk about them all, but a few of them I can refer. There could be some communities that came to be for some specific event. For example, uh, in the way. And these communities can take actions, general actions about a specific sector or industry. They can be together for game, for also the operationality. And there could be also some communities established for other purposes. So, what about good community examples? As I mentioned, many of them. As I said before, Game Design and Development Club, for example, is a good example. As it was a university club, rather we had university students or people working at the university environment. But however, it addressed different sections of the society. It admitted the participation of many from different ages, and it conducts training programs and events for the game industry. And weekly, they have many successful events, and they contribute a lot to the development of all those who are member to it. And Indieway, for example, is an example which is organizing this event, and they have their Discord accounts. And as this is a relatively maybe a smaller community, I believe it's not sufficiently active now, but in the future it will be, I believe. So these communities are really valuable. So take your seats, if you will. And one of the most important game development organization is Enoch, and it was established by Sarjan studying at Bahçeşehir University. And Sarjan Muhlacı, the founder of Enoch, which is the acronym for Game Developers Community. And it was established for game developers at a university, but then very rapidly it grew and addressed many different people, uh, universities included, and it turned into a community that addressed the whole country, not only the university, even though a UN and the university acronym was kept in its title. And Burak Teziteşe is also managing now, directing at the community. So maybe it's not as active as it was in the past before. However, it is still active, and I suggest you take a look at that. So there are many other communities, and as we don't have enough time, I cannot mention all of them. I am myself actively following many different communities, but I can't say that I know all of them. For example, Women in Games is a community of Bahçeşehir University, and many associations such as Oyundaş in Turkish, and the many communities. But as I don't have time, I can't mention them all. So if you make a search over the internet, what kind of game communities are there, you will probably find many interesting communities. What about their place in our sector, in our industry, what they can bring about? Let me talk about those. As an academic myself, I feel at ease to say that communities indeed are the best environments for development of games. Neither academy nor courses will make people develop, self improve as much as they can in a game community. So I suggest you take the best out of those communities. These are environments where you would not fear from making mistakes, and it gives you, these communities give you an environment where you can also fix your failures. On the other hand, you can get to know many people who will help you, and it increases your speed of self improvement exponentially. Let's say you don't know much what to do about a game engine, And in that community, in that environment, if you ask somebody, I'm sure at least one and maybe more than one people will support you, and you can learn about something you had not much idea before. On the other hand, you can help some others using your own experience in those settings, because you have your own experience, and there are many people who can make use of that, so you can offer it to them. And on the other hand, such communities, organizations offer trainings or workshops or webinars. Such training activities take place. So these also can help you a lot. It could be best for you to make use of those. On the other hand, if you take active role in different fields of the community, for example, organizing an event or promotional activities for that specific community, or how to administer or direct a community, you can have different experiences in such communities. For me, it was, for example, a great example for managing or administrating capabilities. These communities offer a pool of events. Some events are free of charge, some not. And one event, for example, we are in now is this very webinar we are at now. So there could be some conversations, webinars, or talks, or interviews that take place in that pool of events, and sometimes some competitions, out of which you can also be um, receiving awards or rewards, and different conferences, fairs, or exhibitions take place. People share what they have done, and they can receive feedback about what they have produced, and they can get to know different people. They can play different games and try out the products of different companies at those fairs, and even you can sell your own products. So a large scale gaming Istanbul is one exhibition that used to take place face to face before the pandemic. It was a great fair. It was a great one, organized by Indieway. Also, parties where you can be socially active. So it's really fun to every once in a while be in such settings. And I can talk about my personal takes, what I am personally interested. Game jams, these are organized. You probably know, but a game jam events take place on certain specific themes, and a group of people in teams in a certain period of time try to develop games and present them at the end. So I can talk about game jams for hours, but still, to put it briefly, game jam, well, it helps us produce a product, even if it's not the final or end product. And as you need to do it in a very short span of time, you learn things very rapidly. And the game production process um, is what you become familiar with very rapidly. For example, game design, game coding, or writing. So game jams are really great events. If a game developer does not try a game jam, then he or she is missing out on something great. So I suggest you take part in game jams at least once or twice. There's also another factor, which is the human factor for those communities. So when we say human factor, generally, some people do shy away or scare away. However, it shouldn't be as such, because it helps you grow your network. And um, along with that, Thanks to the actions you take within the framework of this community, you can have contacts, many. For example, I have more than 1,400 contacts over LinkedIn, and outside that, I have many other contacts. So these contacts, these people I know, indeed are people I know from those communities and with the extensions of it. And in those communities, there are different people. Before you step into the professional life, you will be probably seeing many different profiles that you can encounter in your professional life, so you can have a chance to observe. It can be related with some potential problems or maybe other things that you will probably have coming your way in the future. And in places like game jams, you will have the environment to work with many people. So co-workers, potential co-workers that you will have in the future. It gives you a preview of that, so to speak. So these are some reasons for many people to be a part of communities, and also it helps. A community helps you find your future coworkers. You can come up with certain maybe initiatives, or you can be joining to an already existing group, or a group that is taking initiative, and so on. Besides, very obviously, these communities give you a social environment, help you get socialized. Different other gamers, different friends, and you join those communities to create your own environment. So, other than the human factor, what sort of other support uh, do those communities bring about? Well, communities give you the chance to get to know yourself and introduce yourself, promote yourself. So many communities and many organizations, such as Discord, in settings such as Discord, you have a chance to introduce yourself, share your portfolio, share your softwares or your initiatives, and promote it. Uh, to give you an example, the fact that I am making this presentation in an Indieway organization is an example. So you will find chances and settings to introduce yourself to the rest, um, and also promote your work. Other than yourself, as I said before, you can promote your products, your games, the games you design. You can also receive a lot of feedback. And before launching maybe a game into the market, you can further develop your games depending on the feedback you receive. And it's also like a pre marketing experience when you are sharing it with the rest of the community. And the communities also have probably um, a, a, a big target audience. And being an active part of this community helps you reach out maybe large groups of people. And in our age, over social media, we know many things work, and masses have a lot of say in our day in digital era. And this then translates into active participation over social media through these communities. And it also gives you the chances of making marketing free of charge without paying anything, so to speak, free marketing. Because the people in that community, or those who are a part of that, will have familiarity with what you produce, and they can also promote your work to the others through word of mouth, and also helps that to travel. across different communities, and you get to do it free of charge. And when you have so many masses to address, and then it helps you further strengthen your PR skills. How is it coming through? Let's say you said something wrong, then you figure out you have to fix that. And the next time, if I say something similar again, maybe it will be misunderstood. That's why it helps you seriously further reinforce your PR relations and skills, public relations and skills. And along with promoting your work and yourself, um, these communities also give you the chance to get to know yourself. How come? Well, everyone you know, everyone you get to know or meet, help is you see yourself in them. It's like a reflection of yours in the mirror. So you can tell you should also have that capacity or maybe capability for your work or skills, specific skills you have to develop, and maybe something that you have to quit. So human beings do shape their behaviors in accordance with the environments they're in, and you can see what's out there, and you can observe uh, what to do. That's why your behaviors, you if you can observe your own behaviors, it will be maybe the best way or best move for you to see yourself. On the other hand, these communities give us different opportunities and different areas of interest. Maybe there's something that you are interested, but you haven't still discovered that yet. Uh, Let me give you an example. A community has events for drawing, sketches. Let's say that you never knew that you were interested in drawing or coming up with sketching. And then you participated to an event and you gave it a try, and then you figured out that you like it, and maybe you have a great skill for that. And then you can figure out if you have a different skill set or not. So, to wrap up, I can say the communities give us a great environment for self improvement. The This can be reiterated time and time again because this is really great, such environment. And on the other hand, it gives us a very big pool of events. That pool adds on your experience. So briefly, experience. Maybe I am saying experience over and over again. It's not nice, but still, it helps you really get experience, and it helps you further expand the scope of your um, relations, your network. And in our age, everything works on that. You have a chance to promote your work, to introduce yourself to large groups of people, and this way you can make your presence felt by the others in an environment, in a setting. And as I said before, it helps you get to know yourself. So the more you know yourself, the more successful you can be in your professional life, the happier you can be in your professional life. So now that I have wrapped up, this is all I could say. I would like to thank you all very much for listening to me, and I would like to thank you Indieway and OTG for having invited me and giving me the chance to make this presentation. Here you can see my contact details, and here is my email address. You can also contact me through my Discord account. If there's any question, I can get them. I guess I finished a bit early. Yes, we finished it a bit early. It took around 26 minutes. We don't have a question, but if there's anything else you would like to add, you can. And if in the meanwhile there is a question, I can read those questions for you. So I talked about some communities, OTG. OTG Discord community is really great. I suggest everyone go in there and give it a try. And they come up with these guys come up with great work, and the committee is really great. So there were some communities I could talk about, but I thought that the time wouldn't be enough, so I cut it short. But there's one community established by Indieway, and it is like an extension of Oyun Dash, the game association or society. It is a society to established to support women's participation. So, as in all other different sectors, this is also a shortcoming, and it gives many people many chances, many opportunities. So, even though it organizes events specifically for women, but you know, there are some other um, events. So, women in games, but also we are in games. There are some questions. Do we need to be a student of Istanbul Technical University to participate to OTG? And no, you don't have to be. Yes, it is a club established at Istanbul Technical University, but there are many people who are a part of it, and it has been as such from the very inception of the club. So it opened itself to many, many people, and I am happy. So you can go to the Discord account of OTG. Another question. Uh, the fact that there are many communities, does that harm the communities? No, on the contrary, I think it helps more because if something is monopolized, the development of that can slow down due to the absence of competition. Because if I'm the only one, I will not maybe be able to see my failures, or I won't be able to have the chance to compare myself to the others, seeing something good, maybe uh, coming from another will help. If there's an excessive number, maybe yes, but the fact that there are many communities helps with a competition, that a sweet competition, and it helps and contributes more to the industry overall, I can say. And another a participant asks, how can we decide on joining communities? Well, it depends on what you're interested. If you are a programmer, I suggest you make a search to see what kind of communities are there for programming. So you can check it out. You can maybe join and see how things are running. And if it's okay for you, you can stay there or leave. And you can take part in more than one community. You can look into the communities I mentioned before. So it depends on what you are interested, what you want. So you have to know also what you really want, and you may need to make a research accordingly. Is there anything else you would like to add, or about communities? Maybe I can go back to my presentation. Maybe there could be some things I skipped related with time constraint. So I should not go into game jams again because it would take a lot of time. But I participated to more than 23 game and jams, and I'm really happy that I did. By the way, I also took part in virtual events of game jams. Uh, So OTG organizes online game jams, and I guess, in my opinion, actually, OTG organizes the best game jams in Turkey online. At least maybe you can join a game jam, an online one organized by OTG. Please try it out. It's a great fun, and it helps you tremendously. I can't really say enough. How has the pandemic affected the communities? This is a great question. I thought that it could affect very negatively. It could bring in a very negative impact, I thought, on the beginning of the pandemic. However, it affected many communities very positively, and those communities who could adapt to the online environment immediately. OTG, maybe before the pandemic, had about 100 members, but now it has about 1,000. And the Discord server it has is now the most active of its history. And in the way, like online oriented platforms where the independent gamers can share their own initiatives or products. And people can just sit in front of their computers without the need to travel miles. And there are events people can participate. For example, a E3 fair. Many of us maybe could not go to that due to the traveling costs or maybe passport or visa related issues. But now people can participate over Zoom, and at the same time, many could. So I was a bit dazzled, a bit stunned, but I'm happy. So I can say that the pandemic has brought about a positive input to the communities who could adapt to the pandemic. So another question, if we want to establish a community, what should we do? Well, it depends on your vision and your purpose when you think about establishing a community. So what could be possible? What are the must-haves? What are what not? And we have to clearly have an idea about our direction. And after doing that, you need to find people with the same mindset. You either can interact with other people in different communities, or you can communicate with your people, circle of friends, and start that. And when you start serving your purpose and start doing what you want, and then you can, of course, benefit from the experiences of other communities and then create your own community, improve it, uh, and become even bigger. Or maybe you can just establish a small scale community that serves your own purpose. But you, in the beginning, need to know where to go, where your boundaries are, and what your goals are in the very beginning. What should we do to participate to the existing communities and take active role in management? I don't know every community, but in Enoch, there was this form you had to fill if you were interested in finding a position. So you could maybe do that. They used to offer that, and I wasn't actively involved in Enoch's um, management board or body. But in OTG, you could have good relations and tell people that you are interested in the management of the group. So it would be enough if you let them know, and many people made it really obvious that they wanted to improve themselves for management or administration. So after that, some people even received offers, and this is how they really self-developed. So taking part in that community and being actively involved and making it obvious that you have a great character would be enough. So we finish that session a bit earlier than the scheduled time, but thank you very much for your participation and great insights. Hope to see you again. So thank you. I hope that I didn't keep it that short. So now I'm a little upset, but still, anyways, thank you very much. Okay, thank you a lot. See you. Bye bye.